think we're live, Danny.
Oh, we are. God.
Nice. Here we go.
Condolences to anybody who hears me.
What's up, fellas? This is T Formation Conversation. I'm your host, Lester Wildfong, and we are jumping in for a quick live draft talk with my guy, Danny Meehan. You'll hear him on our channel all the time. He is 1/3 of the Rule of Three podcast, 1/2 of the Lunch Pail Draftcast podcast, and one hell of a great model American. Danny, what's up, brother?
What's going on, boss man? Just, hanging out and trying to basically thank my lucky stars that I ain't outside, I guess.
I know it's really bad storms here in Kenosha as well. How about you?
Yeah, I live in the Edison Park neighborhood of Chicago. It's coming down pretty good.
Crazy. So hopefully our internet keeps up for this whole quick podcast here. But hey, the Bears have another offensive lineman, Ja'Tyre Carter from Southern. What are your initial reactions to the pick?
Initial reaction is pretty cool. Southern hasn't had a player drafted from looking all over the Twitterverse since 2004. So we're talking this is the 17th, 18th draft since they've had a player selected. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you. I haven't watched a ton of them, but I
Small
can.
School prospect. That's understandable.
Yeah, and he's an HBCU guy, so again, kind of a cool story.
Awesome.
Especially with the come up of like Jackson State and stuff under
Coach Prime.
Yep, Coach Prime. But just quick looking at him, he's really well put together. So he is 6'3", almost 6'3.5". He's just a shade under 315 pounds. And for a guy that plays guard, pretty decently long arms, 33.5-inch arms. The first thing that stood out in the minimal tape I noticed of him, very powerful hands. So he's more of a compact build in terms of like his height, not like Braxton Jones where he's like big, tall guy, but longer arms, strong, solid hands, and he works his hands with his body well. So he has very good ability to basically marry hand-eye coordination with his core strength and his ability to play. Is he going to be any good? Similar to what I was saying on the Illinois Center's breakdown of whose name is escaping me because now I'm full of Ja'Tyre.
They're coming so fast and furious with these draft picks.
You're not kidding, man.
I love it.
It's great, but a little bit more athleticism. He tested in the 79th percentile of broad jump, 75th percentile of vertical jump, and 77th percentile of 40-yard dash, which gets him, 5.13 40-yard dash, 30-inch vert, and 108-inch broad jump. Yeah. So pretty good athlete at that weight and size, but definitely, again, when you look at the athleticism versus the actual power of like other athletes at the offensive line position, they are definitely trending more in the zone blocking scheme, which is exactly what Poles said. Wanted to get lighter, more athletic, be able to get out and run, get to that second level, as it were.
The nice thing about Carter is he's obviously transiting. He'll be guard for the Bears at his size, but you talked about his grip strength. And when you're playing inside, the height and stuff doesn't really matter. It's more about the power you have at the point of attack. And like I said, I've watched probably less film on him than you have, I'm sure, because, for me, like all I've done is when the pick was made, this first I had a chance to get to it. So I haven't watched nearly as much as most people. The little bit I saw, he does look like he has good power at the point of attack, and he is an athletic fit for the Luke Getsy zone blocking scheme.
Yeah, I mean, there's really not much else to say just because the ability to get your hands on film from a school like Southern, especially with the lack of pro production they've had to this point in their program's history, especially of late. The only reason I was even put onto him is I have a friend who graduated from Morehouse University or Morehouse College, excuse the slip up there. But again, HBCU school that he attended, he just happened to catch a game and said, hey, this kid playing for Southern, might want to give him a check out. And that's kind of how, us armchair draftniks do it. You get a tip from someone, you're like, hey, check this out. And you're like, maybe when I get the chance.
Like I said, right now, this is the fourth offensive lineman the Bears have added this draft, correct?
Correct. Fourth offensive lineman. And it's like, 4 of their last 5 picks, right? Aside from the running back from Baylor, who really have a change of pace back, but it's not his show.
So as far as the trenches go with Ryan Poles, he did talk about wanting to bolster the trenches.
Mhm.
As fans were upset with the first day getting no offensive lineman. We knew there'd be someone on day 2 here, but now it looks like the Bears have a guy that's at least one of their picks is a legit, probably a swing tackle type,
Mhm.
and they have a legit center type. And now with Carter and then the 2 picks previous, they have a couple guys that can compete on the interior. So he's really bolstered the depth here in one day.
Yeah, he's done a nice job, and it's kind of not. And we should have expected it between him and his second in command, Ian Cunningham, both being former offensive linemen. It's something we really should have expected. I guess we all just wanted it earlier for names we noticed.
Yeah.
But when you factor in someone like Braxton Jones, you expect him to potentially be the left tackle of the future, and depending on how they view Larry Borum. I mean, I know people have already kind of made their own bust for him in Canton and whatnot, but we don't know yet. We don't know how he's not this regime's pick.
Yeah.
So it's interesting, especially because I think this very draft in and of itself, aside from really the center from Illinois, has shown you a lot of what Poles and company are targeting. And they're looking for athletes that play football versus really the opposite. They're looking not football players that happen to be athletes,
Yeah. No, I mean, it's all about, like I said, we talked about the zone blocking scheme. You have to be able to, get to your double team and work to the second level quickly. I know a lot of fans will look at like a 40 time where you mentioned his percentile was, I think, the 74th percentile. Then you mentioned his 40 time 5'1" something. And the casual fan looks at 5'1", that guy's slow. He's an offensive lineman. He's 300 plus pounds. The more important thing for a guard, especially, is a quick hand punch. And that 10-yard split, being quick and agile to the point of attack.
Exactly.
It seems like Carter has that.
Exactly to your point. We brought up the scheme and the ability to punch. When you're doing that inside guard, the guard on the outside zone, it's all about the reach block and the ability to get to that next level and push someone outside and make that one cut ability for the running back go. So if that's his trait and his ability to run upfield is there's no reason that he shouldn't at least play as a depth piece on this offensive line going forward. Like, it's easy, it's draft day to get caught up in who these guys are and like, oh, he's going to start. Reality is he's a 6th round pick.
Yeah.
So let's hope he makes the roster as a starting point and then go forward from there.
Awesome. I think that about wraps up our Ja'Tyre Carter quick podcast here, Danny. I want to thank you so much for jumping on. I know I was scheduled to be with Jacob, who has been doing so much stuff, but you are actually going to take the last 2 picks on our podcast channel home, aren't you?
Yes, I am. I've already cleared it with the wife. I'm going to be here, and you're going to get much more of my mug and my face and my thoughts. Awesome. I'm not sure if they're any good, but it's here.
Hey, it works. They're here. Hey, so guys, thanks for listening. If you're watching us on the video channel, that's Second City Gridiron. Thanks so much. Make sure you do smash that subscribe button. If you're checking us out on the podcast channel, appreciate that as well. WindyCityGridiron.com, of course, where all our work is. You can follow me on Twitter at WiltfongJR. You can follow Danny at Dan Meehan 90. Did I get it right?
You got it.
Nice. So until next time, bear down, my friends.